Hey everyone, Scottish Warren 92 here. A big apology that have anything up on Halloween except for my gameplay for Batman Arkham City Catwoman. Link to it there. Unfortunately, the build up to Halloween in Scotland is an absolute bitch. The days are just filled with people. It's a lot of pain in the ass. I don't really go out of Halloween or anything, so I didn't have it in mind, but there were trick-or-treaters coming to the door left, right and centre, so unfortunately I couldn't get anything filmed. But like I said, it's a late Halloween thing. I'm going to tell you my top five movies / games that scared the shit out of me. That still to this day scare the shit out of me. So if you excuse me, I'm actually going to get my Halloween costume on. Well, part of it anyway. I can't get the full thing on, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello everyone. Hope you enjoyed the little costume. I'm a jester. It does have a mask, which is but I can barely breathe through this thing, and you wouldn't be able to understand me. So enjoy the laughter. So basically, I'm looking at myself and I look absolutely ridiculous. Thumbs up for the jester. But I thought, why not tell you a couple of things that scared me. My top 5. In fact, I probably should get my glasses back on because I can barely see. Not as scary, but still, screw it. And I got a beard. But it's the. I am not a big horror fan. I love some of the horror themes and all that. I love vampires, zombies, and this is cutting off the circulation to my head. There we go. There. Vampires, zombies, ghosts. I love all the supernatural stuff, but I've never been a big horror fan. Games, movies, and this thing's floating down. Fuck it. But it's just, the ones I have seen and I have played have literally left me scared shitless. There's a long line of shit leaning out of the room where I used to be. It's leading right at the door up to my room, under the covers, sucking my thumb. But I want to give my top 5. These are the ones that literally have stuck in my mind ever since I was a little kid. And there's got to be games and movies in here because not a lot of movies scare me. I can normally see what's going to happen and all that before the end of the film. Same with the games, any horror game I've played. So let's get this started with number 5. Should I get some creepy music? And creepy effect? There we go, that's much better. Now, what I can say about my number 5 is it has to go to... A lot of people can probably wonder why, but it's Dawn of the Dead. Not the new one, not the new Dawn of the Dead. The original Dawn of the Dead, the black and white picture. Firstly, I did see the new imagining, if you will, first. But then I saw, which was scary, but predictable. You could kind of see what was going to happen in this. In Dawn of the Dead, the original one, the black and white one, that thing was freaky as fuck. That scared the shit out of me at some points, and it did make me laugh at some points as well. There were a lot of points that did make me laugh, but there were a couple of scenes that did make me go, that made me leave a trail of shit behind me. So that has to get an honourable mention, because it is one of the pinnacle zombie films, and it did really scare me. When I was a kid, when I saw it, it did scare the shit out of me, I must admit. And when did Dawn of the Dead come out? The new one came in a couple of years ago, but I did see the old one a while after it because I was a bit interested. But it was more so the atmosphere that it created, in my opinion, that did scare me a lot. I'm a big fan of, like, if you get the right atmosphere in a horror game or a horror movie, you're going to scare the living shit out of me in this thing fucking flopping. But if you get the atmosphere right in it, you're going to nail everything, in my opinion, and that's why it gets the number 5 slot, because it did scare me because of the atmosphere they created. Just fix this. There we go. So let's get to number 4. Number 4 is a tricky one. I actually have to give that to quite a modern game, in my opinion. I have to give it to Dead Space. I did play the original Dead Space. I can pal give me a loan of it, and in my opinion, that thing scared the shit out of me. I was literally jumping left, right and centre because I was so shit scared of this thing. I was running, I was scared, I was literally, it really got the urgency of zombies in space basically, and it really added to the tension, the atmosphere, the music, the sound effects, like, a ball dropping in the corner made me go, what the fuck is that? What the hell is that? What the help! Really, it really nailed the idea of being in space, doing like a zombie outbreak of space zombies, basically. That's what the Necromorphs are, space zombies. And I really did enjoy that. It was really, really cool. I did enjoy that. It really, I think very few games these days, very few horror games anyway, nail that. Nail the suspense. Nail the atmosphere. Most horror games today that I've played never really get the right atmosphere, and I'm never scared of them. But Dead Space actually nailed it. I have to give it a big props for that. They nailed it. I was literally scared out of my shit when I played the original Dead Space. The second one, not so much. The second one, I can kind of see where it's coming. These are floppy. But the first one did scare a lot. Did scare me a lot, and I'd recommend anyone to go play if you like it. Number 3. Yeah, this one was really hard. I honestly couldn't really pick. Number 3, 2, and 1 were really tricky for movies and games. But number 3, I have to actually give to Friday the 13th. Now a lot of you are going, what, the new one? No, the original Friday the 13th. That movie is scary. It wasn't the best budget of all films, but that fucking thing was scary. It built up the suspense, it built up the tension, and it really added to the atmosphere. Very few films these days as well get that right. Friday the 13th was what it really added to the atmosphere. It built up the suspense that I think that was in the first one, was it? I haven't seen it in a long time, but I can tell you right now, the first one was perfect at the right amount of gore, the right amount of stings, the right amount of atmosphere. It was really cool. I really did enjoy it. It really scared the shit out of me, the first one. The second, after that, they did get progressively less scary, in my opinion. They focused more on the gore. In my opinion, you can have gore in a film, but you can't have too much of gore. You have to have the right amount of gore. And Friday the 13th Part 1 had the right amount of gore. It had the right gore, the right atmosphere. It nailed near enough everything that as a horror film, in my opinion. And if you've never seen the original Friday the 13th, like the original one from the 80s, I think it was, if memory serves me, I'd recommend you go watch it, because the new one doesn't do it justice. The new one is more Friday the 13th Part 1, 2, and 3 combined into one. While Friday the 13th Part 1 is fucking scary. Friday the 13th 2 is as well, and Friday the 13th is okay. But after Part 3, it's still scary. But after a while, they did start to get a bit less scary. Like Jason X. Come on, that wasn't scary. That was a portal, basically. But if you haven't seen Friday the 13th Part 1, I'd recommend you go see it. That movie still scared the shit out of me to this day. So, let's get to the next one. Number 2. Number 2 is a game. It goes to a game because, in my opinion, games are the modern day horror movies. And, sorry, I need to fix that. There we go. And it's really tricky to pick a game that deserves this slot, because not a lot of horror games pick up the right atmosphere. But this one, in fact, no, wait. Oh no, number 1's a game. Number 2 is a movie. Yeah, I fucked up. Number 2 is a movie, and it has to go to Interview with a Vampire. Now a lot of people are going, but that's not really a horror film. It has the horror aspects. It has vampires in it. And in my opinion, anything movie with a vampire, it still kind of classifies as a horror film. And no Interview with a Vampire. That's one of my favourite vampire films. I'm fucking up my own list here. That's why I was going to write it down. Hey, Creature Jester. Sorry, number 2 has to go. Number 2 has to go to Batman Returns. And I was going, but that's not a horror film. And my opinion, that fucking thing was scary at some points. Sick, twisted, and what the fuck? And when you're watching that as a kid, that shit is scary. Tim Burton is a fucked up individual. Don't get me wrong, I love the film now, but when I was a kid and I watched that thing scared the shit out of me. I was running from the room when I saw some of the scenes in that. That thing scared the shit out of me. I was a kid, and I saw that. That was scary. Shut up. I'm a pussy. Get it? But it's just some of the scenes in that thing were so creepy. It was more dark than what I was expecting when I was a kid. I saw the first Batman, I loved it as a kid. I saw the second Batman Returns, and it scared the shit out of me, some of those scenes. I was like, help! I don't care what you say, that movie scared it at some points, and I ran from the room a few times in some scenes. I can't remember the scene exactly, but it didn't scare the shit out of me. So you're probably going, pussy! Suck it. So let's get to the number one now. Number one is a game. In my opinion, this game defined what is a horror game. It created a whole new genre perfectly, and it is Resident Evil 2. Not the first one, because I never played the first one. Not the one in the Imagine It. Raccoon City with Leon S. Kennedy. In my opinion, Resident Evil 2 is the scariest zombie game I have ever played. I can tell you that right now. I don't care what anyone says. That is the perfect zombie game. It didn't have hundreds upon hundreds of zombies. It had a handful of zombies, but it nailed the atmosphere, the sense of urgency with ammo and health. It nailed everything what a survival horror is, and at some point it literally scared me shitless. I was running out of the room screaming, crying. It is the perfect survival horror game for its time, and still to this day, because very few survival horror games nail that. And in my opinion, it's what defined the whole survival horror franchise. If you've never played the original Resident Evil 2, I'd recommend you do, because it is what defined a horror franchise, and it scared me shitless. I'll tell you that right now. So that's what I could recommend. And those are my top 5 things, movies / games that scared me shitless. And I'm going to take this off now. That thing's fucking hot. But that's my top 5. My apologies for not having this up on Halloween, but unfortunately I was kind of busy, and I really do apologise for that. So please don't hesitate to tell me what scared you shitless the most. And as always, I'm Scottish Warren 92, and I'll see you all later.